What's up, people? It's your boy Max, the WrestleManiac, if you will, and we're back again with another podcast. Hope everyone is well. Big up everyone that is joining live on the YouTube channel for today's show, AEW Full Gear preview and predictions. It's going down. AEW Full Gear this weekend. So yeah, we're gonna chat everything, getting ready for one of their last shows of the year. They'll do World's End, but I guess Full Gear is one of the OG pay-per-views that they have in their calendar. So yeah, we're gonna talk through, do a little preview, do a little prediction for the show that we're gonna have over the weekend from AEW. Like I said, big up everyone that's watching live. Big up everyone that's going to watch it back on YouTube. And if you want this as a podcast, of course, you can go over to your podcast platform of choice and you can search the WrestleManiac UK show, and this will turn up there as well for you. So yeah, plenty of places where you can follow along all the podcasts and stuff. What a show we've got to come. Like, when you look at the matches for AEW Full Gear, like, there's a lot of good matches, like, and AEW tend to deliver when it is pay-per-view time. They tend to, yeah, really put on a good show. Now it's the TV leading up to the show, which I don't think right now we're in the best of spaces when it comes to AEW and TV. I don't think they're doing their greatest work. And yeah, the whole comment of TK saying that, he has to book week to week, or he books week to week, whether that was like 100% true or fiction, I feel like we're seeing that kind of stuff play out. Even this Dynamite that we just had last night, as I record this, it wasn't anything like super special. There was some go home elements to it, I believe, but there was a lot of stuff that was just like meh, like in terms of getting you ready for a pay-per-view. I can't necessarily say that I am overly looking forward to the pay-per-view off the back of that show. But as I was kind of getting this live stream ready, this podcast ready, and you look at the matches, there's a lot of good bouts there. There's a lot of good bouts, and like I say, they tend to do the business on the pay-per-views. So listen, for those watching live, hit the like button. But yeah, we're gonna jump straight into this one with I guess what is the pre-show match, the 0 hour match. I don't know the order of all these matches. We'll leave the last one, the main event, the world title match, till last. We'll go through the 0 hour first, and then everything else in between, we'll just see how it goes, sort of thing. So without further ado, let's get into this preview and predictions for AEW Full Gear. And we're going to start off with this one. The Big Boom AJ with his son, Big Justice, going up against QT Marshall. I can't even tell you where this has kind of come from in terms of like the build for it, sort of thing. QT has obviously been on TV less these days since his return to the company after leaving suddenly, or whatever the case was over there. The situation changed, I believe he said, and he returned to the company. Haven't really seen him on screen too much since he returned. This, Boom guy, he's one of these kind of crowd favorites. Seems a bit like too much of a accolade to give him, but the people are enjoying him. People are enjoying the phrases, the catchphrases and stuff. And he used to be a wrestler. He used to be an indie wrestler. So he isn't like a celebrity being used, or a celebrity coming into this world, so to speak. He is someone that has been around it, sort of thing. AEW are choosing to use him. AEW are using this, like using him here in this like comedy segment, or whatever you want to call this, because I don't really know what to call it, sort of thing. But not to waste any time on this, I do think he will go over QT Marshall. QT Marshall is a bit of a clown in the sense of, he does funny segments and stuff like that as well. Always caught him catching himself in something like hilarious to some degree. But yeah, I think the Big Boom will go over and get a win over QT Marshall. And yeah, we'll just see, will he be booked further, by AEW? We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. But yeah, QT Marshall, no win on his return, in my opinion. Next up, we have the four-way tag team match. So we've got the Kings of the Black Throne, the Acclaimed, the Outrunners, all gunning for the AEW Tag Team Championships against Private Party. Now, this is a match that you've built up pretty well over Collision, over Dynamite. They've had qualifiers sort of thing to see, who's going to fill the spaces of this match. So, a lot of the division has come together to kind of be present in this, whether they've qualified or not. So it's good. We are now getting an enhanced focus on the AEW tag team division. However, Private Party just won these titles. It hasn't even been a month, if I'm correct. Maybe a month, maybe about 3 weeks since they won these championships. So I can't see them losing it. I think if they lost it, fire on the mountain, like complete fire on the mountain. If Private Party lose right here and lose their tag team championships to whomsoever, whomsoever. We got Outrunners in that match who, I won't lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of Outrunners, especially, should I go there? Should I go there? AEW and AEW fans always try to make out that AEW is like some more serious, I won't say super serious, but more serious wrestling promotion. So when I see them using the likes of this Big Boom guy and his son, when I see the likes of a gimmick like the Outrunners, and they're not jobbers, and I know Outrunners jobbed for a very long time and then eventually organically got over, so big up them. But their gimmick is comedy ultimately. I don't know why we're not hearing the noise as we would if this was another product. If this was another product and we had the Outrunners, people would be making noise. So yeah, the Outrunners are not my favorite people in the world. The Acclaimed have, their own kind of larger storyline going on here with the Acclaimed are like gonna break up. We got Bowens up against Castor. It's not ugly yet, but I think it's clearly gonna get there, and maybe this match is gonna be like a catalyst in all of that. And we've got Kings of the Black Throne, which really and truly on paper should be favorites to win a match like this. But like I said, they have just won the titles, Private Party. And Nafi says here in the chat, they can't lose. They can't lose. Like, Private Party losing on the first outing, more or less, is madness, really. Like, there will be uproar. There will be fire on the mountain, honestly. So, yeah. And of course, we just had the whole saga with Malachi Black. What was that match he had against Adam Cole? He said he wasn't leaving or he wasn't retiring or whatever the case was. But the energy was very weird. Like, the justification wasn't enough. The energy was very weird. Yeah, I just think that Private Party will retain this one. And we move on from there. But it's good to see. I think the overall plus in all of this is that AEW look to be doing something and rebuilding this tag division. And there's more people that aren't involved yet in the tag division that could become involved. So, I'm just thinking now of James Drake and Zach Gibson. Like, I haven't seen much of them really in a prominent position since they were brought in the summer at All In. Kind of weird, like, so I want to see the tag division thrive, because as I always say, AEW basically told us that this was going to be a tag team centric company. They said it, not me. But yeah, let's move on. Private Party, I think, is my pick for that. We also have not a match, but a championship champagne celebration. Yeah. We are celebrating Mariah May winning a championship that she won in August. Now in November, we're going to do a celebration for it. Mina Shirakawa will be there, so of course the champagne will be flowing. I think it's just an absolute waste of a segment. Why isn't this segment the time that this is going to take Ricochet versus Takeshita for the international title? The international champion isn't on this pay-per-view. The continental champion isn't on this pay-per-view. Like, okay, the TNT champion is, so one of these 3 mid-card belts is represented, and we have a lot of kind of just, quote unquote special singles matches that are on this show, which are going to be great matches. But we got 2 champions not in the show, and the women's champion that is on the show isn't defending the title. She is having a celebration for winning the championship that she won in August. Now in November, it's a wild decision. She's just faced Anna Jay twice in a row on Collision. Both good matches. I don't understand why one of them couldn't have been on pay-per-view. One of those should have been the Full Gear match. Let Anna Jay scupper her celebration on Collision, and then it leads us to having the second match on Full Gear on the pay-per-view. But instead we're doing Mina Shirakawa celebration, I would like to think from this segment Toni Storm is returning. I think that would be something that could motivate this segment. Although, of course, we've probably all seen her shenanigans of Toni Storm is retiring from AEW and professional wrestling. Sure, Tony, I'm sure you are. Maybe the timeless character is done and she returns as Toni Storm. But in general, I just do not think that this segment, this could have been a main event segment on Dynamite if Toni Storm is going to return and stuff like that. Pay-per-view, and it's funny because yes, I'm asking for more matches, and you might have seen me in the past complain about the amount of matches here on pay-per-views in AEW, but it's like this segment is just so it's 3 months late. It's 3 months late, and it's on TV now. It's bonkers. It's actually wild to me. So yeah, we'll see what it brings us. Like, honestly, the segment better bring us Toni Storm or some other big angle. Toni Storm at a minimum is what this segment has to bring us, because I don't really understand otherwise why we're having it. And with that, I'll move on from it. I mentioned special singles matches. One of the ones that are on the card, which let's get into it because it's a bit of a baffling decision how we got here as well. It is MJF and Roderick Strong. So Roderick Strong had to win 3 matches to get to MJF. Adam Cole had to win 3 matches to get to MJF. Roderick Strong won his 3 matches. And on the condition that Adam Cole won his 3 matches, he was going to join this match and it'll be like a triple threat match, which for me was a bit, okay, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, their 3rd match should have been against each other. And then that could kind of, play with sever ties between the two and make the relationship a bit more rough and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like that's probably what should have happened instead of what we got. We got Adam Cole facing Takeshita, which I was petrified about because I thought if Adam Cole is about to pin Takeshita to get into this match, yeah, that's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. It didn't happen. MJF had mailed his Dynamite Diamond ring to Don Callis, who had clearly given it to Takeshita, and Takeshita used that to help him win the match. So Fairs. Like, I just wish he beat Adam Cole clean, but whatever, it's fine. Not that I want Adam Cole buried or anything like that. I love Adam Cole, but it's not his season right now. And furthermore, this story is still going on. We were here this time last year with this story, so it's a bit of a weird one. Roderick Strong will not beat MJF. It's great to see Roderick Strong on a pay-per-view in a singles capacity. The guy has bags of talent, like he's such a great wrestler. But he won't beat MJF. But I'm sure this will be a very, very good match because MJF is a great wrestler as well. I think we're just waiting off on Adam Cole so that we can do Adam Cole versus MJF at World's End. You know, that's when the turn happened. That's when Adam Cole revealed himself as the devil. Even though they've put a whole spin on that, and Adam Cole's the good guy and MJF is the bad guy again. I think that's why we are waiting for. That's what we're waiting for, should I say? MJF to get past Roderick Strong, and then for a year on from when this all kind of unveiled itself, we get Adam Cole versus MJF at World's End. That's what I personally think is going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. But in this case, I think MJF gets the win over Roderick Strong. And then, yeah, he probably returns to Dynamite because he's been gone for quite a while. Don't know why either. Maybe he's shooting films or something. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, MJF gets the win here for me. Another one of those special singles matches. We have Will Ospreay, Aerial Assassin, going up against his old buddy, old pal, Kyle Fletcher. This match is going to steal the show. Like, there was instances in the tag match that they had on Dynamite this past week where they were alone in the ring and they had like a quick 60 seconds with each other, a 90-second interaction. And I just thought, this is awesome. Like, these two guys, obviously with their friendship and all of that kind of stuff in real life, probably know each other like the back of their hand, you know. So seeing what they'll be able to do in the ring with one another, it's going to be special, man. It's going to be really, really special. And I can't wait to see it. It's a funny one with who's going to win. The thing is with Kyle Fletcher, I'm not sure what winning does for him. Like, if he pins Ospreay, which, yeah, it's like, wow, I pinned Ospreay, which is great. It's like, okay, how does that elevate you in AEW? Like, of course, it's a big kind of accolade to have, but does that elevate you in AEW? Like, what are you going to go on to do now that you've pinned Ospreay? Takeshita, your boy, has the international title. Of course, there's other titles available, but I can't see his trajectory right now going for one of those titles and being successful. Maybe he goes into the Continental Classic and has a good showing in that, but it's like a sideways move sort of thing. So yeah, I don't really know what a win over Ospreay does for Kyle Fletcher right now. But in the same instance, Ospreay is not really doing much of anything. So he could get the win just to say he's got the win, and they can kind of get back to the, you know, the beef later on down the line or something like that. But I personally think I'll go for an Ospreay win here. It's a tight one to call in some respects because, like I said, it's just about it's kind of like a nothing scenario for either men. It's going to be a fantastic match, like I said, probably like match of the night. But in terms of the scenario of, okay, this person wins and we go on to get this from it, or this person wins, we go on to get that. I think just for the story, Kyle Fletcher being the bad guy and he's been the one kind of, you know, starting all the trouble with him and Ospreay. Ospreay gets the win here and gets one over on him. But yeah, I don't think Kyle Fletcher wins. And Alfie in the chat says Fletcher to beat Ospreay. Okay, I mean, it could really go either way. I think Ospreay to win. He says Mark Davis to turn on Ospreay too. Interesting. Mark Davis was obviously on Ospreay's side for the tag match. He He's got the pen. I think Osprey. I think okay, maybe we get a situation where Osprey wins, but then he gets a beat down after a match from Carl Fletcher. So Carl Fletcher leaves standing tall, sort of thing. Maybe Mark Davies comes down to look like he's making the save, but then he sides with um he sides with Carl Fletcher. I think there was a point in that match as well yesterday where Osprey caught Mark Davies in the face with maybe a super kick or something like that. Um, yeah, Osprey was causing all kinds of trouble to his own team last night on Dynamite. He got Will Hobbs injured, whether that's a real injury or not. I'm not too sure yet, but yeah, I'll go with Osprey to win the match. Let's put it like that. Whatever happens after the match, I don't know, but I think Osprey will win the match, and then maybe Carl Fletcher will leave standing tall over Osprey's body. Yeah, let's go with that for now. But like I said, that match is going to steal the entire show for sure. Like I'm sure of it. Gonna be a banger. From a banger to something that kind of fell flat this past week on Dynamite. We are going to talk about the women's match. The TBS champion Mercedes Moné defending against the challenger Chris Statlander. Where do I start with this one? I mean, if you listen to me on Wrestle Extra earlier this week, I said how I felt about Mercedes. I don't think, she's got the keys to the car right now. I just don't think it's happening. She's not moving. She's not driving nowhere. I just think it's just, it's not big business. You came in, the show was called Big Business, all of that kind of thing, all the pageantry around it. Even me had me like, yeah, it's lock off. Like it's crazy. Like this is CM Punk entrance for Mercedes Moné for a woman. Like this is fantastic. This is brilliant. And I just don't believe she's lived up to any of the fanfare, the hype, or anything right now. Not that as fans, we should necessarily know all her business, but I don't even know like what she's doing outside the ring right now, which is according to her one of the main things that justifies her being in AEW, because she can get on with her outside the ring projects. Yeah, it just hasn't been good. She was here giving us facts last night, that she's got fun facts for us and telling us that, she's held the title longer than Statlander held the title. I can't remember anything she's done with the title. She may have had a couple defenses before now. This has been like the biggest story feud she's had going into this. And if I'm completely honest, at times I've been more invested in Statlander versus Camille. I'm probably more invested in Statlander versus Camille than Statlander versus Mercedes Moné. I'm even somewhat more invested in Camille turning on Mercedes Moné and them having a beef. Statlander and Mercedes Moné, I just don't. I don't know. Like I just feel like because Camille has been such like a central part of this story, Mercedes has been on the outside. I just don't feel it's taken off. And the segment that we got on Dynamite this past week, where Camille was sent into the ring to fight Statlander with her arm in a brace, getting dispatched of quickly by Statlander, didn't look great on Camille. Mercedes jumps in, tries to attack Statlander, and is like jumping on her back. Like she reminded me of like a kid like that has just caught like their parents' back slipping and trying to get like a piggyback, but the child is so small they can't get on, or like shrugging them off. Like it just looked very uncomfortable. It just looked like a complete mess. I don't know whether she was trying to get the backstabber off and Statlander wasn't aware of what she was trying to do, or Mercedes just couldn't balance herself on Statlander's back. I just think the entire thing was a mess. It just didn't look good at all. And again, like I'm not talking about, insert name of two very inexperienced AEW women that don't know what they're doing. This is Mercedes Moné that is here claiming to be the greatest women's wrestler in the world, that is here claiming that she is the highest paid women's wrestler in the world, like saying you want to be the difference, you want to revolutionize women's wrestling and all of these kind of things, asking for a women's wrestling show. You're saying all of these things, but when it comes down to it, like if I'm her female wrestling colleagues, I might have to be asking, Mr. Tony Khan, show me the books, as Gabe says. Show me the books, because how is this everything we're giving her in terms of maybe the allowances and the contract, like what are we getting in return? I don't know. I think she should drop the title this weekend. Maybe take a step away and come back in with some new energy, new ideas and stuff. I don't think she will. I think Mercedes Moné will beat Statlander, but I don't think she should. I think we just need to move on. I don't think this has worked at all. But yeah, it's a shame, because Mercedes is a lot better than this, in my opinion. Like I said, I was very excited when she joined AEW. I was ready for it. But really and truly, it's looking like, when she said she had the opportunity to return to WWE at WrestleMania 39 in LA, around then, she probably should have. And of course, the sample size is still maybe not big enough. Some would argue she only joined that in like what, March this year, something like that. So it hasn't been a year yet. But it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. But yeah, my prediction, Mercedes Moné to retain the TBS championship. Let's move on to another match. The next match we got here, Hangman Adam Page versus Jay White. Now, this feud has been a very interesting one. But I think we're now getting to a point where we need to knock it on the head and both men need to move on to other things. I don't think people are invested because of the men involved. I don't think people are invested in the actual feud. Or maybe even a better point, I don't even know if people know what the actual feud is about per se. But yeah, I think Hangman versus Jay White are two tremendous talents. We saw this match. I don't remember. Was it Wrestle Dream? The last pay-per-view we saw this match, and we saw Jay White get the win in the first bout between these two, if you like. I think Hangman wins here. Hangman has been synonymous with Full Gear. That is his pay-per-view ultimately. I think Hangman gets the win over Jay White, and maybe they move on to doing this one last time at World's End or something like that. But yeah, this match will be fun. This match will be good. But I think Hangman gets the win here. He's owed a win, and yeah, we go on from there. But what is the true story or character stuff we're trying to push beyond this? I don't really know for these two. It seems like this is just something for them to do in the meantime. So yeah, we'll move on to the next match, which is Swerve Strickland going up against Bobby Lashley. I thought it was super questionable for AEW to have Bobby Lashley's AEW Dynamite debut not promoted. Like, you switched on Dynamite, so you're already there, and then they had the little segment where the Hurt Syndicate was stepping out of the car, and they said, Bobby Lashley, this is our big announcement, Bobby Lashley's going to have a match tonight. And he had a match against two jobbers. I was very happy. I popped when I saw Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger always makes me laugh from like watching him in Ring of Honor days and stuff like that. But yeah, Bobby Lashley had a match against two jobbers, squashed them obviously. And then there was a segment where he was then blindsided, attacked by Swerve Strickland with a chain again, because he got attacked at the top of the show when he made the announcement that he was having the match. Yeah, so it's like, this is Bobby Lashley. Why wouldn't you have given like a week's promo on last week's Dynamite? Bobby Lashley's gonna have his first match next week on Dynamite. And with being this close to the pay-per-view, I would have personally just left Bobby Lashley to debut at Full Gear, because the 2-on-1 beatdown, okay, yes, it's designed to show dominance, it's designed to show, you know, how powerful he is, how almighty he is, but it's like, we didn't learn anything from this. We could have just have him come out, try to talk some trash to Swerve. Swerve's music hits, Nana comes out, that's a distraction. Swerve comes out with a chain. Everything else that happened just in that order. Like, they potentially took a risk not announcing that he was going to wrestle on Dynamite, so they didn't gain anything from it in terms of viewership or anything like that. And then two, what if he got injured? What if he got injured just on some nothing match that does nothing for anybody? We know he's powerful. We know he's almighty. Like, this, yeah, it was a very weird decision, if you ask me. Like I say, injury could have been there, and yeah, we know he's powerful. Putting these two jobbers in front of him doesn't necessarily get me any more excited for Full Gear. But hey, they done the angle. Generally, this story has been good though. You know, them trying to get Swerve to join, Swerve not joining, Swerve choosing Nana over siding with the Hurt Syndicate has been really, really good. The Hurt Syndicate look brilliant. Love Shelton Benjamin. Wish he could do more already. I hope they put him in a Continental Classic, but I expect Bobby Lashley to win. Bobby Lashley shouldn't be losing, you know, one of his opening matches, debut matches, AEW pay-per-view debut matches to Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland, yes, he's a former AEW champion, but let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Bobby Lashley needs to win here. Maybe Swerve gets his win back somewhere down the line, and maybe like a non-disqualification matches, as Swerve is quite, you know, in sync with those these days and does some good work in those style matches. But for now, Full Gear, Bobby Lashley has to win. Let's keep Hurt Syndicate looking strong, really develop them, and go from there. So yeah, Bobby Lashley for the win for me. Let's talk championship matches. TNT Championship on the line. Jack Perry, the scapegoat, going up against Daniel Garcia. You see this match here, yeah? I feel like the build has been, I don't want to use the word weird, maybe unconventional. Maybe a bit unconventional, because Daniel Garcia was like involved in the Mox World Order stuff, like Mox taking over or owning AEW, as sometimes they refer it on commentary. And then he quickly switched over to Jack Perry. Jack Perry and obviously the Elite guys didn't want to get involved with this. Daniel Garcia has become more serious. He's dropped out the dancing. He said he's going to win championship gold. He's going after the TNT championship. Was it last week on Collision? We had the segment where they strapped Jack Perry to the front of his van and drove him through the city or something like that. Then this past week on Dynamite, we had the segment where they've kidnapped him and he's sitting in like a big warehouse and it looks like they're about to torture him, and Daniel Garcia walks away. It's been, and that's all, that stuff is all very cool and creative, and the way they've put it together looks great. I will say that, but it's a very unconventional way to kind of build to this match. And with Daniel Garcia kind of getting the upper hand over the last few weeks with the kidnapping and stuff, if you want to call it that, does he then go on to just take the championship from these guys? Now, Jack Perry has lost the Bucks, who are not on TV. The Bucks are not on TV, won't be on TV till early next year, I believe they said. Okada hasn't been on TV for a couple weeks now, maybe. Um, so it's like if Jack Perry loses the title here, does he fade into obscurity as well? Like, what's he going to do? So I'm not. I think Jack Perry retains. I think like if you put a gun to my head, I think I'd go with Jack Perry retaining. Um, but can Daniel Garcia afford to lose a big match after kind of building it up so much, being so aggressive in his approach to getting the match, and everything he's been telling us to build this match? Can Daniel Garcia really afford? Like, he's ultimately been not repackaged, but yeah, let's just say he's got a new attitude and all that kind of stuff. So on the first kind of real major outing, does he lose? I don't know. I, I don't know. Like, I feel like Jack Perry. It's just like, yeah, what is he going to do if he loses this? What is he going to do next? Daniel Garcia can circle back round. Like, if Jack Perry finds somehow to win this match, the next match between the two, Daniel Garcia wins the title. Yeah, I think I will go with Jack Perry to retain. I don't know. I think I'll go with Jack Perry to retain, but it's in my opinion, it's close. In my opinion, it's close call. Um, Maybe even Okada comes back to help Jack Perry. Who knows? But yeah, it's a close one to call. It's close. And last but not least, let's talk about the AEW World Championship, which has not been seen on TV for absolute ages, since Wrestle Dream, when it got just thrown into a duffel bag. We see it now in a briefcase. Well, we don't know what's in the briefcase, but we assume it's in the briefcase. And the AEW champion John Moxley would be defending the championship against Orange Cassidy. This match will be fun. Um, Moxley's brawling style going up against Orange Cassidy, which is a bit like of a hybrid type style, will be fun. They've clashed before. They've had great encounters before, but I think it's fairly obvious that Orange Cassidy isn't winning this title, and not winning it here anyway. If he was going to win, I don't think this is the arena. They are still working on kind of establishing Moxley World Order, Mox World Order, and trying to take over the company and this, that, and the other. And I think it is fairly obvious now to anyone watching that Darby is going to be the guy that beats Moxley. Um, they've got a long-standing history as well, where I think in the previous three like big matches, Moxley's won all three against Darby. So this is going to be like the one that Darby gets the win over him for the world title, which is really good, kind of in the background storytelling sort of thing. But boy, I just think that Orange Cassidy is gonna have a great match, but he's just the flavor of the month. And Darby probably wins the title at Revolution in the new year. What's that? February? Darby might win the title there. That'll be a year on from when Sting retired and all that kind of stuff as well. So that was probably Darby's biggest moment up till this point of him winning the title, and a year later he's world champion. I think that might be a kind of good way to book it. But I don't know how everyone's feeling about Mox holding this title, and if they can keep this going, keep this story going, or whatever the case may be until February, because it seems like people have got mixed opinions on this, Mox takes over AEW, Mox World Order stuff already. So yeah, I think in the Full Gear match, Orange Cassidy has kind of done well. He's shown he's got grit, he's got determination, that he's not going to get put down by Moxley or the rest of the Death Riders crew. But I just think it's not going to be Orange Cassidy. If this was just a singles match between these two. I could probably say, because of everything he's went through, Orange Cassidy gets the win. But for the world title, no. And I do. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't book him to be world champion in AEW, but I do think one day he will be. But yeah, that day is not Saturday, the 23rd of November. He ain't becoming world champion. This is Darby's championship when they're ready to do it, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Mox to beat Orange Cassidy and retain the AEW World Title. So guys, that is the show. That is all the matches on the card. Listen, this pay-per-view is gonna be good. We're gonna have good matches. Even, you know, Mercedes and Statlander, which I wasn't too high on the build and everything, like I mentioned, I do think that that will be a good match. I think that will be a very, very good match. Yeah, the matches are good. The builds haven't been great for all of them, but we'll take what we're fed in it. We'll take what we're fed and see how we get on. But yeah, guys, that is the AEW preview and prediction show. Thank you for joining. If you're watching on YouTube, if you joined the show, please make sure you hit the like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Everyone's going to watch this back, I appreciate you as well. And of course, like I said, you can catch this on your podcast platform of choice, whatever you use, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever the case is, as well. And you can listen to it there. More podcasts coming soon. We'll probably do maybe we'll do a review and chat through some of the stuff that happened on Full Gear as well next week and where it can lead on to. But yeah, hope everyone enjoys Full Gear. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.